The moon belongs to everyone. The best things in life are free. Hi, I'm Susan Terry, and I'm here at one of my favorite places, the Westport Library. Some of you know me as a voice teacher around town. I'm also an avid book reader. I love books more than I can say. Told you I like books. Growing up in New Hampshire, I read this book in maybe 7th grade, and I must have read it 5 or 6 times. When all my friends were reading Gone with the Wind, this was my Bible. Marjorie Morningstar by Herman Wouk. It was about a girl in New York City who wants to be an actress. And she falls in love with this songwriter and has this incredible life, and then ends up in the suburbs raising a family. Well, my life kind of followed that trajectory. I grew up listening to all the musicals. It's not easy to make a movie out of a musical, and this is one of the more successful ones. I was on tour a fair amount when I was young, and I had so much time to read. It was terrific. One of the highlights of it was to get to play Petra in a little night music at New York City Opera, and that aired on PBS. I think one of the most exciting moments of my life was doing the Sitzprobe of a little night music. Sitzprobe is when the actors meet the orchestra. Singing The Miller's Son with this orchestra was beyond. It's a wink and a wiggle and a giggle in the grass, and I'll trip the light fandango. I love all things Hitchcock. I wish I had them all to watch all over again for the first time. Rear Window, Jimmy Stewart. Actually met Jimmy Stewart once. What else do I have here? Oh! Composing a Life by Mary Catherine Bateson, who is Margaret Mead's daughter. I remembered this book recently. I think she died recently, but I remember reading this book. It's I think focuses on 4 or 5 women and their lives, and how the things that are important to them change during their lives, and how their focuses change. And for me, I had sort of one life in my younger life, and then I moved to Connecticut, and I had 2 wonderful young children and a husband, and the things that were important to me changed a lot. And I just remember this book making a real impression on me. I left the city kicking and screaming, but I got here and I had my minivan, and I could just drive to the library. This is about the Boston Public Garden, and I took my kids there, and it was very fun to see the location of where this book was written. And then there's George and Martha. Martha was very fond of making split pea soup. Sometimes she made it all day long. Pots and pots of split pea soup. If there was one thing that George was not fond of, it was split pea soup. Matilda, Roald Dahl. I read all these books a long time ago to my kids, but last year some of my students were going to be putting on the musical Matilda, and I thought, I'm going to go to the library and reread the book. Planning trips with the kids, planning trips without the kids. If you hadn't noticed, I want to go to Spain next. The Brooklyn Nobody Knows. I don't know Brooklyn. I got married in Brooklyn at the Botanic Gardens, but I lived in New York for 20 years, and I have no idea what all the fuss is about Brooklyn now. So one of my kids has a girlfriend who's a vegetarian, and we love it when she comes to visit, but I run out of ideas of what to cook for her. So I come to the library. Avocado pesto mozzarella tartines. One of the things I do, like on a day when I'm teaching a lot and I have an hour break and I just want to clear my head, I just get in the car, I drive over here, and I look and see what's on the express shelf. This was on the express shelf. I'm dying to read it. It's called The Great Circle by Maggie Shipstead. And it's a big book. But I'm going on vacation. So I'm going to read this, and I'm going to try not to get any sand on it. Hatchet by Gary Paulson. I just remember a family trip in the car, and the whole family listened to this. It was a little scary. It was about a plane that crashed. extremely loud and incredibly close. Jonathan Safran, Foer. This book touched me. I don't know if it's because I have boys, but it is a boy who loses his father in 9/11. And he can still hear his dad on his message on his phone, and he's convinced his dad is still alive, and he goes looking for him. It's very moving. It's this 9-year-old boy named Oscar. There must be more time. I haven't even gotten to half the books I wanted to talk about. They're all here. What about like the biography of Richard Rogers, and what about Anne Patchett, Dutch House, and Commonwealth, and Barbara Kingsolver? I love Barbara Kingsolver. Can I take you down there and show them to you? I'd love to do that.
I shall marry the miller's son.